on the first book that I decided to read for my summer reading. I picked this up randomly in the bookstore and I had no idea what it was, and this is The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. This book is a modern classic. It was published in 2002, I believe, and there's also a movie that's come out, but I actually haven't seen the movie. And if you guys didn't already know, usually on my summer readings I usually do this thing where I do something special instead of just doing a review. Basically what I'm going to do today is that I'm going to be doing a drawing inspired by this book. And so basically you guys are going to watch a speed paint of me drawing a drawing that's inspired by this book while I kind of do a review on this book on the voiceover, and I thought that'd be really fun. So hopefully you guys enjoy the drawing, and let's get started on the book and the drawing. So basically what this book is about, it's about this girl called Susie. She's 14 years old, and on her way home from school she walks through this cornfield and her neighbor actually rapes her, cuts her to pieces, puts her in a sinkhole, and her body isn't found. So basically what happens afterward is that she goes to heaven, and in heaven things are a little bit different, and I don't really want to talk about how heaven is in this book because it's kind of cool discovering what the book is about also, like what heaven is. The book is told in first person perspective, and you get the perspective of Susie after she's died, telling you about her death and about her family afterwards. So she is in heaven for several years during this book, and her little sister actually grows to be 20 plus years old. You see her kind of follow her family, follow her parents, and her little brother that was 4 when she died, and her little sister. What's really cool about her situation, Susie, is that she can see into everyone's mind. She can see into her killer's mind, she can see into her parents' mind, everyone's mind. And also you get to enter the mind kind of through Susie, of course, into her boyfriend that she kind of had at the time that she never really got to do anything with, and one of Susie's friends. And it's just really interesting seeing how all these characters progress through like several years. I think it's 10 years as Susie's dead, and how kind of her death affects the family. And what I really loved about this book is first off the writing. The writing in this book was just amazing. It's just so unique, the way it was structured, the way the words were put together and stuff. So I thought I'd be reading quite a few quotes for you guys because I just wanted you guys to get like a good taste of the writing style. It's just amazing. I love the way that kind of Susie grows up in heaven together with her sister, and she kind of gets to live their life, and she wants to guide them, she wants to help them. Even though she's dead, she isn't really sad in heaven, and I think she's more or less at peace. I just thought it was such a lovely book. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Yeah, let's jump into some quotes. So the first one that really I wanted to talk to you guys about is when she's being raped. It is a huge trigger warning, by the way, in this book, because it is very visual what is happening and her feelings when she is getting raped. It was a really lovely written, and also it was gritty, but it was also very lovely. Yeah, I can't really describe it in another way. So she says, "I felt like a sea in which he stood and pissed and shat." I don't know, I completely understand like how she's feeling. Like in that moment when she says, "I felt like a sea in which he stood and pissed and shat," I understand her completely. Like I can feel the disgust and everything, like what she's feeling, and it's just so well written by the author. When she gets in heaven, she says this thing here. "Heaven wasn't perfect, but I came to believe that if I watched closely and desired, I might change the lives of those I loved on earth." And I just thought that was really lovely. Susie is just such a great character, and even though this book is about a 14-year-old that dies, it is definitely an adult book, like 100% an adult book, because it is written just very complex, kind of. It's an adult language, and the events happening in the book is in an adult world, but there are characters in all ages here, so I think depending on when I read this book, I'll definitely feel a different thing towards different characters, and I can relate to all the characters in different ways, and I absolutely love that as well. So I'm definitely going to be reading this book in like 10 years and see how I can relate to the characters then. So I just feel like this is a timeless book that everyone should read at some point. Here is just kind of a passage that I think was well written, and just everything in this book is well written. I just feel like highlighting a lot of stuff, and I have highlighted a lot of stuff. I became convinced that the thick blue line was a real place, an in-between, where heaven's horizon met Earth's. I want to go there, into the cornfield blue of Crayola, the royal, the turquoise, the sky. So she's talking about a picture that her brother made of like a sky. It's made of Crayolas, and she's talking about the line where the sky starts, and she's talking about how she wants to go into that line where heaven's horizon is, kind of. Yeah, and I think that was just really beautifully written. Here's another part that I really liked. When she dies, she's quite young, so she kind of starts evolving and understanding everyone when she is in heaven. So she learns to love her parents and her grandma and her siblings even more when she's in heaven, because she can see them completely and throughoutly, like, naked. There's this one part where she talks about her mother, and it's before she dies, but it's something that she kind of expresses throughout her book. I think her mother is one of the most important characters in this book, and I think it was really well done. So here it says, "She was in that moment not my mother, but something separate from me. I looked at what I had never seen as anything but Mom, and saw the soft, powdery skin of her face. Powdery without makeup, soft without help. Her eyebrows and eyes were a set piece together." And I just thought that was really beautiful. Like, it's a whole page about her, and it's all super beautiful, but at the end it also says, "My mother's eyes were oceans, and inside them there was loss. I thought I had my whole life to understand them, but that was the only day I had." I thought that was really beautiful. This book is just so lovely. And the last quote that I'm going to read to you guys is this moment of, like, longing with her brother, and it says, "I realized I would never rush out into the snow with Holiday again. Would never push Lindsay on a sled. Would never teach, against my better judgment, my little brother how to compact snow by shaping it against the base of his palm. I stood alone in a sea of bright petals. On earth, the snowflakes fell soft and blameless, a curtain descending." And all those quotes are really beautiful. I took only these quotes from the first 100 pages so that I wouldn't spoil too much of the beautiful language that is in this book. I also have to say the ending chapter was just so goddamn good. I could read the ending chapter like 10 times and I still wouldn't get bored of it. It's amazing, and I absolutely love also the aspect that she can really follow her murderer as well. Like, she sees his past, his life, and even though he is like truly like a sociopath, it's also super interesting learning his story. So guys, I think that was everything for this book review. I hope you guys liked the drawing. I had so much fun doing it, and the whole idea is that, like, her looking from heaven onto the field below. The bottom part that is Earth is a scene from the book that kind of stuck with me, and that's why I kind of included it. It is her sister and her sister's boyfriend that is driving on the motorcycle, and the cornfield is where she died. And so I kind of just wanted to include those because, I don't know, I thought it was just one of the scenes that actually I remember the best, and that's why I wanted to draw it. Also, the top part, she sits in a gazebo, and that's kind of what she does when she's looking at her family and on the earth. She sometimes sits in like a gazebo and just looks, and the roads in the background are kind of the pathways that she's talking about when she's in heaven, how she feels like she could just take a path and it would lead her somewhere, or I don't know, I just thought it was kind of the way I saw heaven. I also decided to use markers on the earth and watercolors on the heaven to kind of create a little bit of a dreamy feel to it. I also did some blue watercolors around her to make her look a little bit more ghostly, and I had so much fun doing this painting / drawing. So I hope you guys all have a really lovely day and got inspired to read this book. I highly recommend it, and I'm going to watch the movie now. So I hope you guys all have a really lovely day, and I'll see you guys next week for my next summer reading book review. Take care everyone, and bye bye!